Chelsea 0. Highlights and match reaction here onto the Rokani football podcast in there. Welcome guys, how are you and where are you guys? Smash the like button, comment and share, and if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to our channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. As well stipulated in there, it has been a spectacular from a man who goes by names of Kevin Debryune, the Belgian international in there. He is really world class. Kevin Debryune, world class indeed. Let me even change the title. World class. What a world class finish. He executed that ball very well. When you look at how he really had to hit it into the back of the net, oh my God, you better know that it's time that it was just a moment of time. For all those people that have been watching this game, you just knew also that it was just a moment of time, and we know that Chelsea was really going to score at a time T. It was really going to score a goal, but we are just waiting to know when was this going to happen. The first big chance of the game came through towards the end of the first half when Kovacic dropped that ball and did a blind pass. It found Jack Grealish, and Jack Grealish hit that ball, and Kepa Arrizabalaga doing a world-class save in there. But Man City had the best chance of the game in the first half to score, and Chelsea had the best chance of the game to score in the second half. And guess what? Lukaku got in the 50th minute, I think. He was released very well by Kovacic, and he really tried to lay that ball in the lower bottom corner. But Edson Morales did a worldie in there. What a save in there for a man who goes by names of Edson Morales in there for you. So to me, I really feel like this game was in the hands. If Chelsea were to get a result from this game, it all relied on Lukaku. It was in the hands of Lukaku, because nothing that Chelsea would achieve in this game without Lukaku. Because all of the three chances we can talk about, Lukaku was involved in there. Maybe the other one was Ziyech, because Ziyech really had one of the best ways really to say or release a man who goes by names of Lukaku, and he really did a heavy touch of his foot in there for you. But all what I can tell you right now is that Lukaku got the best chance of the game. And by the way, people are really coming out and saying, that's why I really liked what Tukas really come out and say, that he had one of the best chances in the game. And secondly, Lukaku has to create for himself space to play, because that's what he is. Because in games like this, these are games that really come out and prove to us, are you a world-class striker or not? You've seen what Kevin Debryune has done today. No doubt about him. You've seen, he has shown you what world-class means. He creates a moment out of nothing. He has created a moment out of nothing. That is Kevin Debryune into this game of Man City versus a team which goes by name Chelsea, because it looked like Chelsea were solid, but Man City were really trying to do their build-up game. Because for Man City, what they do, they don't change their approach. They'll do that approach for 90 minutes. It's up to you to defend or stop them from scoring, but they have all kinds of players that can really hurt you in any moment in there. So the game plan of the game plan of Man City this time around was different. They're really planning so much onto Jack Grealish. That's why you saw him even play 90 minutes. I think in training, Jack Grealish was really doing great, and they had really done their game plan of Jack Grealish. And all the plan of a team which goes by the Man City was going to really come out from the left flank in there, because you saw very much Cancelo floating that ball past Rudiger. You get? And Jack Grealish used to run into space in there. Sometimes Kepa Arrizabalaga came in through and hit the ball out of the danger area. And most of the times, the guy is called Kevin Debryune, really got himself caught onto that ball and really tried to be dangerous in there. You get? We saw Laporte, we saw John Stones, we saw Rodri, we saw Cancelo. All those four players were passing long balls almost the same direction. Now, they wanted to utilize that space, and indeed, they really utilized it in the second half, towards the end of the second half, in the 69th minute in there, when Kevin Debryune got hold of that ball, and then he hit it, and it really went into the back of the net. It was a hit that even the goalkeeper never anticipated. The goalkeeper never anticipated this hit. He didn't at all. I might really confirm to you, he didn't expect such a hit to come in through onto him in there from Kevin Debryune. But it shows you that there were lack of players in the midfield in there. There are lack of players in the midfield because 4 defenders, 3 defenders, because when you see Kevin Debryune making that run, by the time he shoots, there are 3 defenders, central defenders of Chelsea, compact together just on the 18 yards box area, waiting for him to reach them. Forgetting that Kevin Debruine's best attribute is shooting outside the 18 yards box area, and when you give him such space and without pressure from behind, like N'Golo Kante or Kovacic behind him, that's the best position he can come in and hurt you. That means you've given him the best option to hit you, because when you look at how Kevin Debryune hit that ball, he had no Chelsea player behind him, and in front of them, there were like some good space in front of him. So he hit that ball, well composed in there. He did what you want. So the execution was really good because Kevin Debryune had no pressure behind him, and in front of him there was space, and he even had to look into goal before he even shot to realize where the goalkeeper was. You get? It shows you how poorly Chelsea defended that in there. But all in all, I was watching this game and I was only waiting for that moment of Man City to execute and get a goal in there, because second half, apart from Chelsea getting the best chance of the game that Lukaku failed to net, all the good chances, all the corners, all the 50-50 balls, Chelsea losing balls, each and every good thing went to a team which goes by the Man City. No good thing went to a team which goes by names of Chelsea in the second half. Not really. First half, they had 2 chances, 2 best chances. One where Lukaku really did a run, he was released, and Laporte tried to slide into that ball, and because of the power and energy of Lukaku, Laporte found himself down. It was not a foul, and the referee led the ball to go on. Lukaku, instead of shooting, all passings to the left to find Marcos Alonso, who was really placed very well, what Lukaku did, he went to look for a player who goes by the name of Hakim Ziyech, who was offside, and he couldn't really reach that ball. That was the first chance of Chelsea. The second one, Chelsea does a nice press. They pass that ball into space. They pass that ball to Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech does a single touch, and then he had to lay a relatively short pass for Lukaku to meet and then shoot, and then he did a heavy one. You get that chance really got out. The other one was Hakim Ziyech failing to do a very good delivery cross from the left-hand side. Yet we know that's what he does best, because if you have to bring such a cross, you have to cross it behind the defenders in there. If they either try to stop that cross, it will either go into a corner or into their net, or they will fail and it will find Lukaku, and Lukaku will be well placed to shoot into back of goal. So to me, I really feel like a team which goes by names of Chelsea really played very badly here, and I'm asking myself, where is Havertz? In such games, you need a player like Kai Havertz. There is no way I start. By the way, there is no way I start Pulisic in there, because Pulisic was silent. Do you remember any moment of Pulisic in there? I don't even recall him doing anything onto the pitch. So I really feel like in such a game you need Kai Havertz, because you need a player who's really going to do the hold-up play, because Lukaku cannot do that hold-up play very well. And what Havertz gives you, he gives you skill, he gives you height, he gives you speed, you get, and gives you that creativity, because for him, he has creativity in him, and I don't remember Kai Havertz coming onto the pitch. So I really feel like Tuchel, this time around, he got his tactics wrong. Tuchel got his tactics wrong, I really feel. That's what I really feel. And you can agree with me that Thomas Tuchel got his tactics wrong. Those people that really were watching this game. Because when you look at the substitutions he made, he brought on Timo Werner, Mason Mount, and Carlson Odoi. All of those that he brought on, they are not needed in such a game. Because in such a game where you are given just a snippet of the ball, you don't need people like like Carlson Odoi. You don't need Timo Werner. Mason Mount may be here for him because he can really come out and give you a shot, an assist in there for him, because for him he can really score goals from out of nowhere. He can really create a goal. But to me, my first substitution into this game, if at all, our Chelsea, it was supposed to be a man who goes by the name Kai Havertz because of his attributes. No player at Chelsea has the attributes of Kai Havertz. Let no one lie to you. No player at Chelsea has the attributes of Kai Havertz. So to me, I really feel like Chelsea let themselves down, and it's the manager. You get? They had got hold of Chelsea very well because they had got Chelsea of Man City very well because they never allowed them to operate in the midfield area in the first 45 minutes. You get? And even in the second half, the way you saw the attacks of Man City, they are from the wide side of the field, not exactly into the central axis, because we all know that Man City is the best team that really attacks through the central axis. But this time around, that wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. It wasn't the case at all. So what does that really show you? That Chelsea, having really put down a team which goes by names of Man City, though Man City had a lion's share of possession, what they failed to do is that when they got that ball, they really lacked a plan B in there. Because to me, I really feel like Kai Havertz into this game, even if you gave him 20 minutes, he would have had that team of Man City. Because Ruben Diaz being out of defense, you really had to get a Kai Havertz to come in and really do that hold-up play, because he looks like he's slow but fast. When the game needs to be fastened, he can fasten it. When he needs to slow down the game, he will. And that's what you needed in these games, that each and every time you get that ball, pass it to a player in Chelsea who is going to do the hold-up play very well, to really cool down the temper and attract those Man City players toward you, such that will enable you to create spaces. But if at all you really wanted to do a break, because Chelsea concentrated on let's defend and then hold Man City on the break, very few times you're really going to get Man City on the break, and the person of striker that you are having, who goes by names of Lukaku, is not a clinical striker. You get? Because, to me, let me tell you, those two chances that Lukaku got, if it was Kai Havertz in that position, one of those would have been a goal. Because I know how concentrated he can be. He can be in front of goal. You get? The same applies to Jack Grealish's chance. If at all it found Kevin Debryune, or which other player, man, or Bernardo Silva, that would have been a goal, because he wouldn't have even Papa to take a touch. He would have sat them down and then dinked the ball over the goalkeeper into the back of the net. So I really feel like Man City played very well. You get? Chelsea respected Man City a lot. To me, I really feel like you can take this ball to Man City. You get? After bossing them out of the midfield, what Tuchel got wrong was keeping Lukaku on the pitch for all that long. Because in this game of football, when you look at Lukaku missing that chance, there is no way you keep him on the pitch, because your best chance has been misused. And you expect him to get another chance? No. Even if he gets it, will he score it? That means you need to get another player like Kai Havertz to lead the line, to come in and act as a false nine, because he will involve himself a lot into play, and it will be hard for Man City really to come in through and mark anyone in there, because that's the trick that Man City does. They don't play with an all-out centre forward. Now today they had Raheem Sterling, Jack Grealish and Bernardo Silva. You get? All those three were roving. You couldn't mark anyone out, because Jack Grealish could come into the central and Sterling would switch off the left. Sterling could switch off the right. Bernardo could come into the midfield. So who are you going to mark? No one. So to me, I really feel like it's a game that Man City really came on very much prepared to win, and they really went ahead to win it. And a team which goes by the names of Chelsea is now out of the title race, because 13 points behind Man City. When are you really going to get him? Yet Man City is more consistent than you are. If at all Chelsea were a consistent team that they can go on a 10-game unbeaten run to get in 30 points together, you would have thought that. But injuries are like injuries at Chelsea. You look at Reece James, look at which other player? Chilwell is out. Which other player? There are very many players that are out in there, because when I had the manager doing the pre-match, he said that 4 players are absent in there. Eduardo Mendy is also out in there. So I really feel like Chelsea cannot really put up a run. The only team that is left to really give Man City a chase for their trophy is Liverpool. Because Liverpool, if at all Liverpool wins all its games, we look at the Premier League table. The Premier League table stands like this. The Premier League table has Man City at 56. Man City has played 2 games more than Liverpool. That means if at all Liverpool wins all its 2 games, they're going to go at 48. Yeah, they will be at 48. Oh my God. That means Liverpool will be 8 points behind a team which goes by the names of Man City. Oh my God, 8 points. The trophy is gone. The trophy is gone. Man City has taken this one. Because I don't see Man City. Because can Liverpool really go and really cause harm to Man City? That's the big question in there. That's the big question. And I don't really see this happening. I don't really see it happening, because it's something that is rare to see happen. So, is it going to happen this time round? I don't really think so. I don't really think so. That it's really going to happen that way. I don't really think so. Not at all, not even for a second. That's why I will feel like the trophy is gone. The trophy is totally gone. No one is going to stop Man City. Who is going to stop it? Liverpool won't, because Liverpool are really going to play. Let me show you. Liverpool, if I told you saw Liverpool play against a side which goes by names of Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, you are really going to know that they're really into serious trouble in there. Because they played very poorly. They look like they couldn't break down any team. So, Liverpool is playing Brentford tomorrow. You get? That is one game in the Premier League. I'm counting Premier League games. They are playing Crystal Palace on Sunday. You get? Yeah. What's this? How does this fixture look like? Liverpool is playing Brentford tomorrow in the Premier League. They are playing Crystal Palace. You get? Those are 2 games they're supposed to play. And all these games are really tricky in there. When you look at how they played against Arsenal, if these teams come out serious, they can cause real havoc to a team which goes by names of Liverpool in there. So, to me, I really feel like without Sadio Mane and Naby Keita and Mo Salah, Liverpool can really lose 2 points out of these. And that means they would have extended their gap to 10. And if at all Liverpool does not win these 2 games that they have, my dear, you're really going to see a very big gap between Man City and Chelsea plus Liverpool in there. That's why we came out and told people that the top 4 race is still hard. All the 3 positions are still available for any team. When you look at the Premier League table today, Chelsea going ahead to lose to Man City has really put it interesting and increased the chances of Manchester United, Chelsea, West Ham, Arsenal and Tottenham. Because Chelsea right now has played 22 games. They're having 43 points. You get? Manchester United, if it wins its 3 games they have in hand, you get? Because Chelsea has played 3 games more than Manchester United, they'll be at 40 points. Remember, Chelsea is at 43. Remember, that means Man United will be 3 points behind Chelsea, right? Liverpool winning all its games, it will be at 48, and United will be at 40. It will be at 40. That means 8 points between Chelsea in there. So those positions are still available. I don't really come out and really set off that Liverpool, Chelsea, and maybe Arsenal really are really into that position and they're really clear and off. Not really. That's not the case. It's a different case altogether, and anything is expected to happen into this game of football anytime from now here onto the Rokani Football Podcast. But I really have to applaud Pep Guardiola on how he really picked his team and how they really play it, because he really knew that the midfield battle is really going to be hard to win. And what he did was we are really going to use the sides of the field to see to it that we really create our space into there. But the beauty of what he did was that you use the wide side of the pitch or the wings, but when you get to that ball, you just cut inside in there. So that's really a very good technique that he really used to come up and silence a team which goes by names of Man City. I don't know what you guys think about this win of Man City. Do you think the title race is done? To me, I really feel like the title race is gone and done in there, because Man City, 13 points behind a team, 13 points up Chelsea, and right now they are, because they are 11, they are, how many? They are 14 points ahead of Liverpool. If Liverpool wins its 2 games, they will be 8 points behind. So if I told you to count 8 points, Liverpool will be 8 points behind Man City, and Chelsea is 13. Who do you think is really going to come up and do a chase on Man City? Because even when we look at their next fixtures, let me look their next 5 fixtures. Let's see how Man City are going to fare into the Premier League in their next 5 fixtures. 5 only. I won't extend it to 10. They are playing Southampton. They are playing Brentford. They are playing Norwich. They are playing Tottenham Hotspur. They are playing Everton, and they are hosting Manchester United on the 5th of March. So we just have to keep our hands crossed. If at all we really want to see competition back into this tournament, can United really force a result of Man City? Because if United forces a result of Man City, then we will at least cut those points in there. But all the prayers have to be remaining that even these other teams that are really giving it a chase don't lose their games in there. That's what I really had for you here onto the Rokani Football Podcast. Kevin Debryune, spectacular, winning the game for a team which goes by names of Chelsea, Man City. Chelsea sinks behind, 13 points behind the table leaders. That really shows you how Man City has really put one step into winning the Premier League trophy in there. What do you guys think about this win of Man City? Chelsea has been synced by the spectacular goal of a man who goes by names of Kevin Debryune. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to our channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily.